Hello and happy Halloween. If you are joining me in the United States, today is October 31st, which is when we celebrate Halloween. If you're not in the United States, you've probably seen it on TV. Everyone dresses up in costumes, goes out trick-or-treating. So in honor of today, we will do a 30-minute Halloween-inspired flow. So we'll be doing postures, or renaming postures to fit more with Halloween types of themes, and focusing on a lunar-centered flow in honor of Hallows Eve. So thank you for joining me, Shanny Leigh, and we'll get started on the mat. So first pose, we'll get started in child's pose, balasana. Your knees can be together or a little bit wider apart, whatever serves you. And I invite you to stretch your hands out as you fold your chest towards the mat. And let's take a couple rounds of breath here. Settling into this space. I'm filming this in the year of 2020, so maybe Halloween looks a little bit different for you today. But whatever your day shall bring, I hope you find something to be grateful for today. Maybe you dress up just at home. Let's just take one more round of breath here, normal. And then if it's part of your practice to do ujjayi breath, you constrict the back of your throat and breathe in and out through the nose so that it's audible. We'll do that for 2 more rounds of breath. Maybe imagining crisp autumn air blowing through the leaves, if you're in the northern hemisphere. And 1 more round of breath here, just to sink in just a little bit more. Let the breath return to normal. And try to let something go. Try to release 1 more round of breath here. And then firmly plant the hands, all 10 fingers ground down into the mat. And we'll arch up into a cat-like pose. On the inhale, lifting the hips as you arch your back, keeping the chin tucked. And adjust your legs as needed so you can shift your weight forward. Drop your hips, shine your chest towards the front of your mat, towards a high snake cobra pose. Going back into child's, first through cat pose. Inhale, arch it up. And send it back. Twice more, a little bit quicker. Inhale, arching up through our Marjariasana cat pose, black cat pose. Exhale, settling in towards our snake pose. Bring it back up. Use the lower abs to pull in and bring it back down. Once more, inhale, cat. Exhale, Bhujangasana. Inhale, bring it up and send it back towards Balasana, child's pose. This time really ground on all 10 fingers and make sure your elbows are on the mat, and we'll pull our chest forward into Cobra. On the inhale, keep the elbows on the mat until you need to lift them to pull yourself through, shine your chest forward, coming back through cat pose. Exhale, reversing the breath with the movements here. Inhale, slither forward into Cobra, pull yourself forward, and exhale, bring it back. 1 more round, pulling yourself through Bhujangasana, shine your chest, and take it into tabletop pose. Exhale, just bringing the hips up and settling into Barmanasana, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Maybe take a little motion here to sway it out. Feeling the spine wake up, and then find stillness. Exhale. Tuck the belly in, keep a nice flat back. Left knee stays on the mat. Inhale, right leg extends back. Hold here just for a second. Try not to arch your back too much, but keep it nice and flat. 1 more round of breath, and then we'll arch your back like a cat as we draw our knee in. Exhale. Still embodying this black cat pose. Inhale, extend your leg back. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale. And exhale, draw it in until you can step all the way through into a low Anjaneyasana lunge. Inhale, arms sweep up towards the sky and settle in here. Exhale. Also called crescent lunge with our moon theme. And even if you can go super deep, try not to be as deep as you can yet. One more round of breath and then turn your palms out and we'll cactus the arms as we dip deeper into the hips. Exhale, draw the elbows down, shine your chest towards your imaginary moon, and inhale, bring it back up. Twice more. Exhale, draw the elbows down, really feel your shoulder blades crunch together. Inhale, lift, and exhale, down. Inhale, lift it up, and then as if you're holding a moon in between your hands, exhale, turn your torso towards the upper left corner of your mat, and then straight back, straight arms, fold, 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 legs are still in their lunge until your hands reach the mat. And exhale, release. Finding downward facing dog in the upper body. And from today's class, you can imagine that this is baby werewolf pose, or just wolf. Sticking with our Halloween theme here. Let's do one more round of breath. Exhale, side out. You can walk your hands back in underneath if you want more leverage. Otherwise, ground down in your front heel. Turn your palms in. Use your own strength to lift it up. Exhale, center. Inhale, really dip. This time, just open your chest towards the sky, trying to start to make that half moon, crescent moon shape with your body. And exhale, hands come to the mat. Take it back to tabletop pose. One round of breath here, and then we'll take it to the other side. Find stillness, exhale. Right knee stays on the mat, left knee extends out. Take one round of breath here, more, check your posture. Actively press the earth away, and then finding our cat in the spine, bring the nose in, exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in, hold there, and then step all the way through, baby crescent lunge. Remember, not as deep as you can. Inhale, arms sweep up, and we settle here. So even if you can go super deep, I encourage you to be about all the way back or medium into your hip flexors. One more round of breath, and then palms turn out, and cactus the arms, open the chest. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, extend back into the sky, and again, as if you're holding the moon in between your hands, turn towards the upper right corner of your mat, and fold with as much of a straight back as possible towards the earth until your hands come flat, finding downward facing dog in the upper body. Or werewolf for today. Let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out. And again, you can bring your hands back underneath your shoulders if you want a little more leverage. Otherwise, really ground down into the front foot. Pull your core in. Use your strength to lift up. Exhale, back towards the front of the mat. And then inhale, open your chest just a little bit more. Really dipping into your hip flexors, finding that crescent moon with your body. One more round of breath. And then exhale, plant your hands and take it back to tabletop. Take a round of breath here, do a little check-in. How do the hamstrings and the hip flexors feel in the back? One more round of breath, and then moving into full werewolf pose. Find stillness, inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips, send them back towards downward facing dog. If you need to adjust, you can. Maybe you take your werewolf for a walk. Maybe you just find stillness. Let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out. Find stillness. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward and on, and exhale, step or hop your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, find your flat back. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold it back towards the earth. And rise all the way up, maybe inviting a slight back bend in as you bring it up into Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands come through heart center and down by your sides into mountain pose, Tadasana, yes, but for the purpose of today, maybe you want to imagine that you're a skeleton or you're a scarecrow or something along those lines. Take one more round of breath here. And then we'll begin our flow. Inhale, arms lift up, slight back bend, and exhale, take it to the mat. Exhale, halfway lift. Inhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step just the left foot back. Shine your chest forward, drop your back knee. Inhale, low lunge, and we'll take it to downward facing dog. Step both legs back and settle in. One round of breath. Exhale, side out, and now we'll move through our vinyasa. Inhale, undulate your body forward as if you're arching through the cat into plank. And then exhale, keep the elbows in as you lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck the toes, bring the hands out, coming onto your fingertips, spider fingers. And inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold, baby cobra. Twice more, press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift just your chest off the mat. And exhale, lower. Once more, inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Bring your hands back towards their cobra pose. You can reverse push-up or just roll your way back into werewolf / downward facing dog. Take a round of breath here. Side out. Right foot stays on the mat. Inhale, left leg lifts up into the sky. Three-legged werewolf pose. One more round of breath. And then exhale, step your foot all the way through. Stay high on the back knee this time. Inhale, rise all the way up into high crescent lunge. So again, you don't need to be as deep or as open as you normally can go. One more round of breath here, and then we'll find our cactus dips. Option to just do the elbows or option to dip the back knee with it. Exhale, palms out as the elbows draw down, dip the back knee, and rise up. Inhale. Twice more. Exhale, really draw it down. Maybe look up to challenge the balance. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lift up. And then again, as if you're holding the moon, palms turn back towards each other. Keep what you have in the legs. Turn your torso towards the upper right hand of the mat. Fold it over, finding downward facing dog in the upper body. Take a round of breath here. And one more. And then we'll do something kind of funky. Turn your back heel back and down as if you're in warrior 2 in the back foot. Toes point the long edge of your mat. And then begin to walk your hands towards the back of your mat as you bend into your back leg, adjusting your front foot to face the long edge of the mat as well into Skandasana, half lunge. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, squat towards the front of your mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squat to the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squat to the front. Inhale, lift. Once more, exhale to the back. And then we'll meet in the middle. Wide-legged forward fold. Release here. I'm going to turn around so you can see me better. One more round of breath. And then moving into goddess pose. First, really ground down in your heels, ground up into your core. Imagine that you're grabbing your moon straight back, lift it all the way up. And then turn your heels in, toes out, and squat it down, Devyasana. Goddess pose, or for today, witch pose. Take a round of breath here. And release. And now lifting one heel and then the other. Inhale, lift the right heel and set it down. Inhale, lift the left. Set it down. Once more each side. Inhale and exhale. Lift to the left. Set it down. And now try to lift both. Inhale. Hold it here. Invite the shaking. Keep your belly button in. One more round of breath. And then set the heels down. Exhale. Keep what you have in the legs. Inhale, arms reach back up again as if you're grabbing your moon. And straight back. Fold it towards the earth with your bent legs. Release the neck, release the head. And if you want to challenge the balance in a different way, I invite you to come onto the very backs of your hands, right where your wrists and hands connect. Maybe you make a little mudra. But it just forces you to not put so much weight in your hands, right? Take one more round of breath here. I'm going to turn back around so I don't get confused. And then inhale, halfway lift, and take it back towards the top of the mat. Shine your chest forward. Inhale. We'll step both feet up and together. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Release. Halfway lift, flat back. Inhale. Release the breath as you pour back over. Exhale. Ground down in the heels as you rise all the way up. Slight back bend. Really squeeze your glutes together. And exhale. Hands heart center. We're down by your side. Back to your scarecrow or skeleton or whatever pose, zombie you want to be today. Side out, and then we got that all on the other side. One more round of breath here. And then inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold it back down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, this time stepping the right foot back. Exhale, bend the knees, step the right foot back knee drop, shine your chest forward. Inhale, low lunge, taking it back to downward facing dog, plant the hands and step it back towards the back of your mat. Or werewolf pose. One round of breath. Exhale, side out, and now we'll move through our vinyasa. Inhale, undulate your body forward as if you're arching through the cat into plank. And then exhale, keep the elbows in as you lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck the toes, bring the hands out, coming onto your fingertips, spider fingers. And inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold, baby cobra. Twice more, press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift just your chest off the mat. And exhale, lower. Once more, inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Bring your hands back towards their cobra pose. You can reverse push up or just roll your way back into werewolf / downward facing dog. Take one more round of breath here. And then left leg stays on the mat. This time inhale, right leg goes high, three-legged wolf. Hold, hold, hold. One more round of breath. Your left heel is reaching for the mat as your right heel is reaching up. And then exhale, step your foot all the way through. Stay high in the back knee this time. Coming into the other side. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Take a round of breath here. You're going to adjust your feet as you need. If you feel really wide apart or too close. And then again, we'll draw the cactus arms. Option to dip the back knee. Palms come out. Exhale, draw it down. Lift it back up. Twice more. Draw it down, maybe gaze up. And lift. Exhale down. And inhale, lift. And keeping what you have in the legs, turn your palms back in as if you're grabbing a moon. Turn towards the upper left of your mat with a flat back as much as possible. Fold down until we find our wolf in the upper body. Release the breath. Let's take one more round here, and we'll come back into those side lunges. As ready, maybe bring your hands underneath. Turn your back heel back and down. Inhale, begin to lift the hips up as you adjust both feet and then squat towards the back of your mat. Half lunge, Skandasana pose. Inhale, lift up and take it to the front. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift through center. Bring it towards the front. One more time, lifting up, coming to the back, and then bringing it through center. Inhale. Take a second, ground down in the heels, grab your moon again, straight back, strong core, lift it up, turn the heels in, squat it down, goddess pose with those goalposts or cactus arms. I know a cactus isn't super Halloween-y, but it kind of reminds me of Mexico and Dia de los Muertos is right after, so we'll go with it. One more round of breath. And then when you remembered, can't speak today. If you remember that we did this down, we'll now come into that, so you can more than happy to fold forward, or you can try it with your lifted heels. So exhale here. That was more than one round of breath. Inhale, lift the heels here, and then bring the arms back up, or the heels can be down. With heels up or down, begin to just fold your way. Find control. And then either come on to the backs of your hand as another base. Maybe release the head. This is actually called spider pose. Hold for 3 rounds of breath. 2 more rounds of breath. Invite the shaking. 1 more round of breath. Exhale, side out. Begin to let the heels down. Woo, come back onto your hands. Turn towards the top of your mat. Exhale. Shine your chest forward. Inhale. And step the feet up. Exhale. Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Rise all the way up. Reach into the sky. And exhale, hands come heart center or down by your side. Catch your breath here. We've got a balance and a flow, and then we'll take it down to the mat. Begin to find balance in your feet. And standing into the left leg, inhale, right knee lifts up. Take a second here. And then moving into warrior three, exhale, shoot your leg back as your arms stay forward, holding your moon. For today's purpose, you can imagine that you're a flying broomstick. One more round of breath here. And then exhale, let both hands come to the mat. Left hand stays planted. Turn your toes and your hips out towards the long edge of your mat. And inhale, right arm extends into the sky, finding half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Lifting with the back heel. Maybe you gaze up. Maybe you gaze straight ahead. Maybe you gaze down. One more round of breath, and then we're going to revolve this. So exhale, square everything back off towards the top of your mat. And this time, right hand stays planted or your fingertips a little bit above your foot, keeping toes pointing towards the mat. Inhale, open the left arm. So this time your heel is still lifted, using your glute. Maybe you smile. Maybe you think of all the candy you're gonna eat after this. One more round of breath. And exhale, set your arms back down. Keep your foot lifted. One more round of breath. And then we'll bring it back into standing staff. Maybe imagine that you're grabbing the moon again. If you need to touch down, you can bring your knee back up. Whew. And exhale, set it down. We've just got that on the other side. And then we'll begin to make our way down onto the mat. Side out. If you were super close to something in front of you, you can take a step back like me. And we'll take it to the other side. Right foot stays. Inhale, left knee lifts. Take a round of breath here. And then move into your flying broom like a wizard. Extend out. Any Harry Potter fans? I know that's not super Halloween-y either, but broomsticks and witches and wizards. One more round of breath here. Warrior three. And then keep your leg lifted, fold to the mat. Right hand stays on the mat in front of your right foot, and then turn your toes and your hips out towards the long edge of your mat as you find half moon on the other side, Ardha Chandrasana. So again, you can gaze down, you can gaze forward, you can gaze up. Whatever you want, keep lifting with your back heel, keep lifting out of the core. You're not slumped towards the mat. If you need to bend the front leg, that's okay. One more round of breath. And then keep the leg lifted, but square everything back off to the mat. Toes point towards the mat, and then left hand stays. This time, right arm opens. Revolve your moon. Ardha Chandrasana. Keep lifting with the back heel. Maybe you flex your foot, maybe you point, whatever feels better. One more round of breath here. And then exhale, both hands come to the mat. Shine your chest forward, inhale. Maybe you grab your moon, bringing it up into standing staff. And exhale, come back into your scarecrow, mountain, skeleton, zombie, whatever pose. Take a second, notice the heart. Notice if you were breathing through all of that, and if you weren't, no judgment. It's just a constant practice of invitation to remember to breathe. Take one more round of breath here. And then we'll move into our yogi squat. So begin to heel toe your feet out about hip distance, or if you know you need to be wider or closer, heels slightly in, toes slightly out. Inhale, lift the arms and sit it down. Hands together, the outside kind of above your triceps, pushing into the inside of your legs. If this doesn't work for you, you can be in like a half squat, elbows resting. So you won't get necessarily the stretch as much, but you'll get a great glute and quad workout. Otherwise, here in Malasana, you're not crunched forward, but have a nice open chest. Taking a couple more moments here. And I like to think of this as maybe like owl pose or pumpkin pose or like your little ghost, something. Use your imagination. And then we'll try for crow pose and potentially even tripod headstand. You can also just stay here. You can sit it down. If you're with me with crow, I invite you to begin to plant your hands firmly on the mat. Your fingers are nice and wide, and then begin to turn your toes in, lifting the hips, lift the heels, bring the knees into the armpits, and then begin to shift your weight forward so that you feel a little more balanced on your hands. You're trying to create a shelf with your elbows. Maybe you lift one leg, maybe you lift the other, coming into Bakasana crow pose. And then if you really want to try the tripod headstand, you dip your head into the earth and lift your hips. I won't guide that one as much, just go here if you know you can. Please don't try this without help if it's your first time and cause yourself some neck injury. I like to think of this as bat pose, right? Your bat hanging upside down, chilling, living its best bat life. One more round of breath. And then with control, we'll all come back, whether we're in crow or not, into Malasana Yogi Squat. Take one more round of breath here. And sit it down. Exhale. Whew. Bring the soles of your feet out and adjust so that you can lie flat on your back. Just a few more moves here before we settle into Shavasana. I'll be teaching or cueing the shoulder stand. Otherwise, you can just stay in bridge. Otherwise, you can stay here. First, coming into bridge pose, ground the heels down on the mat. Begin to walk the shoulders in underneath you. And then inhale, lift with your glutes into bridge pose. Taking a second here. And if you want to come into that full shoulder stand, I invite you to walk your shoulders in even more so you can clasp your hands underneath. Stay in bridge if you don't want to, otherwise bring it back down. Or I kind of dip my tailbone into the cup in between my hands, and then using momentum of drawing my knees into my chest, I straighten them into the sky as my hands come to my low mid back. This could also be bat pose or vampire pose, right? Imagine that your toes are gripping something and you're hanging from the ceiling upside down. Taking a couple more rounds of breath here. If you're still in bridge, you can just do some pulses or you can just hang out on the mat. One more round of breath. And then with control, if your legs are up, bring your knees into your chest first. And then slowly bring it back. Everyone set your hips down, soles of the feet on the mat. Release the breath. And then let your hands come out to a T. Inhale here. And no need to bring the knees super into the chest. Just drop them off towards the right where they are. Maybe you gaze to the left. And then bring them back through center. And drop your knees off towards the other side as you gaze over the other shoulder. One more round of breath here. Maybe you begin to settle into corpse pose or zombie pose. Taking a couple rounds of breath here to incorporate everything we've just done. Or you can think of this as skeleton or zombie pose, but still in the earth, still in the grave. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. Maybe you find the Ujjayi breath for one more time, constricting the back of your throat so it almost sounds like you're making the sound of the wind through crisp autumn leaves. And we'll all slowly release on an exhale. I invite you to stay here. You can pause the video and can just continue to stay in Shavasana for a little bit more time. Otherwise, if you're ready to wrap up, I invite you to begin finding gentle movement in your body. Maybe you bring a knee into your chest, or just one up and then the other. Maybe you come onto your side. Maybe you roll up, whatever that means to you, to come into your final closing pose. I'm finding my way into a seat, but you are more than welcome to stay wherever you are at. Palms can be up or down or at your heart, third eye, what have you. I thank you for sharing part of your Halloween or October 31st with me if you're watching this on that day. I wish you safety and happiness and fun tonight in whatever that looks like or means. Thank you for joining me, Shanny, on Yoga with Shanny Leigh or Shanny Leigh Yoga. And until next time, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe or like the video and share. The light in me loves the light in all of you. Namaste.